Welcome back. You must be thinking that how metrics are used in improving a process. What could be the possible strategy that is used during a Six Sigma project? In this lesson, we'll cover the strategy behind Six Sigma methodology. To understand the strategy, we should know an equation that is y is function of x. Now we should also understand what are y and x in a Six Sigma project. Let's take our example of Alex, the carpenter. There is a process of, say, making a comfy chair. The final output of this process is the chair. But the final outcome for this process could be a satisfied customer of Alex's work. So the outcome in this example can be customer satisfaction. We'll call it the big Y. There are some little y's too. For example, time to deliver, number of ready-to-deliver options, neatly polished chair, competitive price, durability, etc. And X could be time to design an item, time to build an item, strength of wood, moisture content of wood, antifungal and water resistance, etc. The important high-level measure that a Six Sigma project seeks to improve is known as the big Y. The big Y should be linked to the critical customer requirements, and should be taken as a basis to decide literally which are the operational objectives that must be improved to achieve big Y improvements. And to achieve the small operational objectives, we have to have control on the identified excess which are impacting our Ys. We must always keep concept of y equals to function of x in mind when applying specific tools along GMake phases. Here are a couple of more examples. How outcome and input factors relate. You must also understand that the outcome and input factors are called in different ways. The x are also known as cause variables, independent variables. And the y, since is dependent on x, it is called the dependent variable, or effect of x, the causes. Knowing the factors and their effects will help us focus our efforts strategically. Also, it must be ensured that y's are linked to customer wants. You might be thinking, how is y equals to function of x applied during the 5 phases of a Six Sigma project? Let us see that now. In the define phase, we identify the customer requirements and align independent variables. For example, for a customer requirement of timely delivery, turnaround time could be one measurable variable which is dependent on how the process is performing. And if we could improve process performance, it will improve the turnaround time and we'll be able to meet the customer requirement. So, with the help of various tools like VOC, CTQ, etc., we find and convert customer requirements into measurable Ys. The next phase is measure phase, where we find out the all possible factors, or the independent variables, which are impacting the process output and collect required data for the identified X's. These identified X's need further filtering to take out the vital fews. In the analyze phase, use various statistical techniques to establish the relationships between X's and Y. In this way, only critical few X are left against which improvement measures are taken in the improve phase. These critical X's are monitored and it is checked analytically whether Y has improved or not. Once improved results are established, control phase starts, in which these X's and Y are monitored so as to sustain the improvement achieved. We can say that whole improvement strategy revolves around the independent and dependent variables, and establishing a significant relationship between Y and XS is very important. By now we know Y and XS, and the relationship between the two. We now understand how to make improvement strategies. Think of that cup of coffee again. As a host, try to find out what are the excess that are impacting the final output. Now we move on to the next lesson. Just below this video, you can mark this chapter complete. Help us help you in a better way by providing feedback on each lesson. Should you need any support, feel free to contact us. Start active participation on our social media forums, share what you have learned, ask queries, answer to questions. Make use of every learning opportunity. Thanks for watching this video.